Joining us now to talk more on this is public affairs analyst and commentator, Bolauba. Good morning.
Good morning.
And happy Independence.
Happy Independence.
Same to you.
Great.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Congratulations. I just noticed that you won the newscaster of the year.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, let's get into this discussion. Yesterday, a lot of Nigerians were looking with all hopes to get what the president was going to say. He made his speech in the morning, and people have been reacting to it very differently. What do you make of the speech, and where did it touch you the most from what the president said yesterday, all the issues he raised?
Paragraph 17, where he basically said that we would need to review the essence of our statehood and be very honest with ourselves with a view to changing who we are, our attitude to the country. So that was most touching. I would just wish that the president leads the charge. Talk is cheap. An advert used to say then in Europe, a major telecoms company used to have talk is cheap. When you say something that lofty, that glorious, that inspiring, you must be seen to be acting in the direction of that uplifting charge. And as at this juncture, how can a government that ever since 1909, when the colonial masters constructed the first railway line into the hinterland of Nigeria, nobody has ever done it. This government is doing it. How can a government that is building the second Niger bridge, which has been for generations, 2 generations minimum, about 40 years, has been in the news, how can a government that has introduced a quasi-formal form of welfare package to still be the government that is making the people somewhat this much disillusioned? Something is wrong somewhere. And Mr. President, somebody who once supported you is nepotism. It's the attitude you give, the predisposition you give to people that you are a more parochial, provincial Nigerian than you are Nigerian, that you are a leader to all Nigerians. And that is the unfortunate part. For the much this government is doing, in the circumstance that it has found itself financially, it is ironic and paradoxical that this government has been the government that has given Nigeria the greatest disillusion I can perceive since I've been following the news since around 1977.
What do you think this government could have done differently for people not to feel disillusioned?
Fantastic question, my sister, in the backdrop of the fact that I've just itemized great accomplishments by this government. Look, a preponderant majority of Nigerians now, from the middle belt to the south-south, to the southeast, to the southwest, feel that Nigeria is peculiarly owned now by a set of people. Ironically, somebody once presented a very statistically rich and empirically evidential thing that it is wrong. But in politics, perception is always reality. Right. People just believe that we have a president who will always kowtow to the demands of his people against the demands of all, and look at the rich asset in human resources that Nigeria presents. It's ironic.
So the point there is, it boils down to how the government engages with Nigeria, communication, the language. Is that what it is? Because you have highlighted that the government is doing so much, yet the perception is wrong. And you talk about the paradox of...
Because somebody, somewhere, ignorantly sustains the wrong perception. Look, let me give you a typical example. Distinguished Senator Abaribe was saying about 2 days ago in the chamber of the Senate that, you know what, the PENCOM Act says that if you are changing the DG of PENCOM midstream his or her tenure, you must replace the person with another person from the region that the person comes from. Suddenly, you are removing somebody from the southeast. I'm a Yoruba man. But you see, fair is fair. You are removing somebody from the southeast and you are replacing that person from the north. Look at the commission that is supposed to be in charge of equitable distribution of offices in Nigeria. The commission, for the first time in the history of that commission, the substantive head is from the north. The executive secretary, who is like the chief operating officer, is from the north.
So the issue is the federal character principle.
The federal character commission. Yeah. And it's ironic that there's no region of Nigeria now that you will not get somebody competent to do a job.
Absolutely.
Why not just follow the law?
All right.
Let's leave this here now. We certainly will continue with this discussion because Nigerians have a lot of things to look at and they have a lot of concerns as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we're going to talk on the president's speech. And one of the things he talked about is the path of national healing, which a lot of persons have said that the price for unity we see when we had the Civil War was an expensive one. A lot of people lost their lives. And the issues that stirred that seemingly hasn't been addressed because we still see the issues that stirred that war around us at this time. If we are talking about national healing, the path to it, where do we begin to have this conversation? And are we really ready for that?
We should strive for national healing. One of the most disturbing present phenomena in our public space for me is the proliferation of ethnic and tribal groups. We should ordinarily strive for national healing. We should also strive for unity because irrespective of the divergent nature of our ethnicities and our cultural and religious backgrounds, we are still a people, when we find ourselves in competition, do well. Historically, you know what? University of Ibadan was the first university. The Westerners felt, you know what, we must have our own. The University of Ife was birthed. Sir Ahmadu Bello, felt, these people cannot leave us behind. They did Ahmadu Bello University.
There was healthy competition.
Healthy competition. The West did first TV and radio station because when we find ourselves in a very competitive environment, there is no sluggish Nigerian, there is no foolish Nigerian. We see young northerners compete in some very vibrant environments, both at home and in the diaspora, with other Nigerians and other people of the world, and they excel. One gentleman is being celebrated as we speak now in Cambridge. The last time I was there, you actually did a feature on him who just invented a form of diagnosis, a diagnostic mechanism for cancer from the northern part of Nigeria. So I'm sitting here now thinking, if those who are in leadership, however, through their conducts and deeds, give a wrong impression like they are giving too much privilege to a part of the country, instead of incentivizing competition that will lift up the tide of the quality of life of everybody, it will spike tribalistic agitations like we're seeing now. How can we be desiring when other parts of the world are desiring to enlarge their market? How can we be desiring in our sectional pockets wanting to disintegrate? We're not saying it's the best of nations.
All right. We're speaking to some analysts sometime, and someone says that sometimes or most of the times we sacrifice unity for uniformity. We're trying to be uniform from the south to the north, from the east to the west, not taking into cognizance the peculiarities and the uniqueness of all of these. Must we be uniform to be united?
It is even delusional to try to want to make us uniform. You are as distinctly different from the beautiful lady, but your bets too are fantastic. And it would be very delusional of me to assume that the way you will ask questions will be the way the lady will ask questions. God, in his infinite knowledge, decided to create varieties of human beings. And because we have different cultural backgrounds, and because we have this large market that those cultural differences in cultural background and religions have created, why not work based on the equality of opportunities for each one of us? If you can strive in the direction of excellence, be rewarded. Let your performance be rewarded. Until we do that, people will be in a nation where they ought to give their best to building our togetherness. They will be agitating for separatism.
All right. Well, we have to leave the conversation here now. Thank you.